Hello and welcome. My name is Amir, and in this video we're going to talk about the differences between auto, percent, and pixels in the height property of a HTML element, so to say. Well, I think it's best to provide some examples and see that in action. So here, as you can see, I have simple body with a div inside that, and for the body I have a border, and for the div I just have a background. So let's start with the percent value. Now if I go here and say height is 100%, it does nothing. If I go and say 30%, still does nothing, and even if I go and say 0%, it does nothing. Why is that? That's because the percent value is dependent on the container. So here, when I say height is 0%, it would take a look at the body and would try to provide 0% of the body. But the body itself doesn't have any height for itself. So its height is kind of dependent on the div. So we're in a recursive loop. So this wants to be 0% of this, and this doesn't know its height because we didn't provide anything, and this div does not have any value of its own. So this height would only work if we have some height here. So let's say height is 200 pixels. And now you can see the 0% takes effect. Now if I say 10%, it will be 20. So let's go here. And you can see it's 20%. It's 20 pixels, so to say. Now if I go and say like 50%, it would take 100 pixels, obviously. And if I go and say 110%, it will overflow. But if you remember, I said containing block, which in this case is the body. And I didn't say the parent. In this case, container and parent are the same, but if this div was having some position absolute or position fixed, then the container and the parent would be different. But we don't want to go into that in this video, so we would assume that the container and parent are both the same thing. So now, how about the height auto? If I go here and say height is auto, which is the default value, I can remove it as well, so you can see that's default. So if I say the height is default, this div will shrink, or maybe even it will expand to fit the content inside it. So here's the point. If I go and remove the text here from this div, what would happen? The div will have the height of 0 because it has no content. So if I go here and if I could grab the div, you can see that the height is 0 pixels. And that's the big difference between the height auto and the width auto. The height auto will be 0, and then if there are some contents inside, it will grow to fit all those contents. But with the width auto, it usually tries to be like the 100% of the container. Okay, but what about the height and some values, like say 100 pixels? Well, that is fine. As you can see, we have the placement for some content, but that will become troublesome if the content is much bigger than the space that we have here. So if I go here and grab some lorem text and come back here and paste it, let me do it again so we have more stuff. You can see that it overflows. It overflows the container, which is this div, and it will overflow the body as well. So if we're using the pixels here or M or RAM, we need to be very, very careful so that these things doesn't happen. A better alternative to using height is using the min height. What would happen with min height is that the minimum value for our div will be 100 pixels, but if it's needed to grow, it will. So for example, if I remove all the text here, up to here, you will see that it will stay 100 pixels, but as we add, it will grow. See, it grows now. It's like 165 pixels. That's very cool if we're using the responsive design. So for example, if I have something like this, you can see that the div is growing with its content and it would go to 100%, 100 pixels, and if I remove all the text here, it will still keep the minimum value that we provided. So let me remove the height from here as well. So at the end of the day, I think it's best to not set the fixed value for the height, so to say. So in a nutshell, it's best to go without setting the height, or maybe just set the min height and then leave the height property for some special case that may occur once in a blue moon. So yeah, that's it about the different height properties. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If that's so, please like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.